Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm very sorry for the absence of videos in the last week. As you know, KVK was on Saturday, but unfortunately for us, our KVK was terrible. You probably realise this by now, but when you have KVK, IGG is most likely to match you with the kingdoms closest to you, so your neighbours. And if you're in a new active kingdom, that normally works out really well because you get paired with newer, also active kingdoms. But if you're in any other kingdom that's not active, then you're likely to be paired with the kingdoms around you, which are also equally as dead. So this KVK, I spent about, I swear to God, 6 hours trying to find good solo targets. And in that time, I only managed to get about 20 million points. And of that 20 million points, half of it came from one player with about 1.3 million T4. He was in Fury, managed to get most of the good solo hits on that guy, but the video didn't save. So the best, well, kind of like the only good solo of my KVK didn't save. To that point, I was just like, I'm not going to release a KVK video. There's not much point. There's not any good content here. On top of that, we haven't gotten many good targets in K622 over the last week, so there hasn't really been any videos to upload. But right now we are doing a rally party and we're rallying Dio Stitchcuck. Some of you may remember him from a video last week. We sent 2 rounds of leaderless rallies at him, and then he came online while we were setting up the 3rd round with leaders. We've caught him unshielded again. He hasn't rebuilt since we rallied him last, so we're now sending about 10 rallies at him with our leaders. Right before we hit Stitchcuck, we did rally another player, and he unfortunately ate every single rally. I do have the recording and I'll show it in another video. But right now, we don't know what this guy has because we didn't get a scout on him last time. He could still have enough troops to eat our rallies. We don't know. There's always a risk, but he isn't changing gear. He does burn on Nash's infantry rally. I don't have the report. I wasn't in this rally. I was getting resources to heal from the last rally. But he still hasn't changed gear, so it's pretty safe to assume he's offline. He's not shielding either, so he drops to under 800 mil here. He was in infantry phalanx. The leaderless rallies from last week had already killed most of his front line, so he's basically sitting on cavalry and range left. After that round of rallies, this guy does have enough troops to solo, so everyone is like, Nash, go start a second rally. But Nash doesn't get, he just starts soloing, and I want those solo kills too, so I'm going to port in and send an inf solo. I wasn't very hopeful here, because normally by the time my march reaches the target, they've already been zeroed, and I really don't like my odds this time, because I am sending from quite far away, but I am lucky enough to just catch the last 500k. It is just a tiny bit of range, and then mainly siege left. Dio Avril, which is the mythic champ player of this guild, I believe they are a fully maxed Champa Cat with all 3 sets mythic. Well, they start garrisoning this guy. And Avril garrisons with inf. I'll show you Avril's gear in a sec. Now, this was pretty bad for everyone who started soloing because, of course, a 375k mythic champ inf garrison is going to hurt to hit into. But the bad thing for Avril is that because this guy only had range left, everyone was sending inf. And even though Avril's inf gear is completely stacked, he wasn't able to cap any solo marches because it was all just inf on inf. Now, if Avril sent a cav solo, a lot of people would have ended up losing their leaders. I mean, one of my friends did hit this guy and only 4 troops came back from an inf versus inf solo. Moving on to the next target, we're rallying DO E0. As you can see from his comp, it's pretty good, around 1.8 million of each T4 and 4 million each T2 range cav and a small amount of T2 inf in the front. Of course, you can guess this guy is defending an infantry phalanx. Nash is going to send a leaderless cav rally first. Right before this rally, we did send another kind of like half-field rally at him. So Nash released the first rally and then cancelled just before it hit. That can be a good way to gauge whether someone is online, because normally they just see the rally notification that it's marching and then they change gear. This guy did not change gear after that first test. He doesn't change gear on the second rally either. We kill 1.1 million troops, so that's a decent hit. Nash is now confident that this guy is offline, so the next rally is going to be full T4 cav. We've also now been joined by BZR and D+E, who are going to help us triple rally this guy. That rally did kill 2.9 million troops. Quick scout afterwards shows that he's only got around 1.5 million inf frontline next. BZR has to cancel because they're going range and his inf isn't cleared yet, but D+E is going cav. So right now everything's going according to plan. So I like to refresh my recordings every around 5 to 10 minutes or so, because if I just have the whole rally on one, like the whole zero on one recording, and the recording doesn't save, then I've lost that entire zero. So in between the recordings, D+E do hit him with a cav rally, but you'll notice that the damage is much less compared to Nash's rally. That's because this guy changed phalanx and gear, so this has now turned into a rescue mission. This guy's gear isn't too amazing. It's basically purple and blue, around the same as my alt accounts, so unless he's rocking like full gold jewels, he will be under 400% stats. But what happens next, he takes these rallies extremely well. So BZR are sending their solo rally. I don't know if this is cav or range, I didn't check. I don't know if they've got the memo that he's online yet, because it's not the smartest idea to send a solo rally. He gets countered pretty easily and only kills around 1 million troops. A few minutes later, we're now going to send a coordinated double with D+E. This guy knows that we want to take out his infantry frontline, so he changes to range phalanx to counter Captain's rally. But then our range rally hits him in range phalanx before he can change back to inf. Range on range is basically a counter, so that hurts him a lot. After getting countered in both inf and range phalanx, this guy is now going to be pretty low on T2. Surprisingly enough, we've got a rally from TWK walking in from the left of the screen. I had no idea they were even rallying. So from the scout, he's not put up anti yet. He's got 9 million troops left. He randoms on TWK's rally. They actually walk back. So at this point we know that, well, we think that we can now burn him pretty easily. So with 4 leaders capped, most people at this point would decide, okay, that's it, I've had enough losses, I'm going to migrate now and ransom these leaders off. This guy doesn't migrate, he decides he's going to stick around to take another wave of rallies. His guildmates are sending him resources now because he needs to boost his infantry front line, and then he's going to relocate to the province, because if you get burned in the province, all rallies targeting you are cancelled. So he only has to burn once. My 100k troops ended up being the timer here. Normally timers are 1 troops that you can easily kick, but in other cases, if you don't have enough players on to get a 1 troop timer without the rally not being full, you can use other players' marches from far away as timers. I'm 23 minutes out, and in chat Nash wrote, kick the timer when BZR march, but in this case, because the timer is an actual filler march, I'm waiting on the speed screen ready to accelerate my march, and I'm watching BZR's rally leader on my other phone, so I know when to speed myself. So he caps both ours and BZR's range rally. I didn't see BZR's rally hit, but the Kingdom report say it did hit, so it must have just done the disappearing thing. Because TWK got a walk back with a rally leader that wasn't even full mythic, we were like, okay, so it's probably going to be quite easy to burn this guy. But as soon as he boosts his T4 int frontline back and he gets his reinforcements refilled, he's still able to cap multiple range rallies. He just capped ours. As you can see, GBM hit him and walk back with siege right after D+E comes in with inf and gets capped. Annoyingly enough, if that had been a range rally, I think he might have burned. He's only got, I think, around 8 million troops left, but he's now essentially a T4 inf rain trap. He doesn't have many options left at this point. His comp is pretty much broken now. You can guess what happens next. Yes, he migrates.